Hello there. Well, this time I plugged in the microphone to make sure it wouldn't sound like garbage. So, should be alright on that front. I turned the fan down a notch because I was picking that up. I'm actually being respectful of my listeners. And I will also do that by getting right to the point. Is My anxiety level is ridiculously high, and I am contemplating whether someone can be killed by boredom. Because my knee has gone crazy the last few days, and I got the broken toe. So, um, I'm not a big movie guy. I did watch a bootleg of the Doctor Sleep movie right after reading the book. Oh boy, I don't feel like I'm in very good shape. My sentences are not moving out of my mouth smoothly. Yeah, my anxiety level is a little high. Uh, and it's a funny thing, in a way, because you know how they have that expression, no news is good news? Well, I don't think that is true all the time. Because in my situation, my tooth is hurting, and when I went to the dentist, which was the last video I made, was before I went to the dentist, they're like, there's nothing wrong with your tooth. And she actually tapped on it with a little hammer thing, like a little metal tool, and said, and whacked on it pretty hard, and was like, if you had a problem with your root, you'd be going through the ceiling right now. What about this one? And smacked the one above it. I'm like, no. But here's this thing is hurting like right now. So, I've run into this before, where I had a tooth that I complained about, and they said there was nothing wrong with the tooth. It turned out it was a necrotic tooth. That was at the dentist that I switched from to go to this dentist that is now telling me that I have a tooth with nothing wrong with it that is hurting me for no reason. So, one of the, I don't know, I'll just call them dental assistants. I don't know what to call them. But she really likes me. She was like, you know, you can't get a nurse to ever do this. But she was like, yeah, it sounds like the beginnings of like nerve death, I think is the phrase that she used. And I said something like, well, I wish they would hurry up and die because then I wouldn't feel the pain. You know? But yeah, that's got me. That I immediately come home from the dentist and went to sleep. And then my sleep schedule has been messed up ever since. Been very inactive, not good. Should be at least trying to walk around on my broken foot. And maybe that's why my knee is hating on me. I don't know. But I assure you, it's quite painful. Um, it's 3:40 in the morning here, uh, Eastern time. So I was trying to get myself to get out of bed for like 3 hours just to eat something. I'm like, oh, it's that depression shit that I've heard so much about. I'm quite familiar with it. But I don't really want to put these on. But anyways, yeah, like I said, I just would rather they found something wrong with it and pulled the tooth. I'd rather they just pull the tooth. It's like, but she don't want to pull the tooth. She's looking at the x-rays. There's nothing wrong with the nerve. She did the hammer test with it. It's like, It's sensitive to cold, especially. I mean, I've got some hot coffee over here I can drink. It's only a little sensitive to hot stuff. If you're asking why I'm drinking coffee at almost 4 in the morning after being up all night, well, I'm not really haven't been up all night. I woke up probably 8 o'clock at night on a Friday, and now it's 4 o'clock in the morning or so on a Saturday. So, uh, I got no telling, and I've been doing nothing, so I've got there's no telling when I'll be able to go to sleep. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not going to be emotionally prepared for getting that tooth pulled, even if they pull it on Wednesday. But she gave me antibiotics. I was taking antibiotics before I had the 4 teeth pulled. My 32 soldiers marching on a hill. First they chant, then they stamp, then they stand still. Yeah, their ranks have been getting shot down and mortally wounded quite frequently here lately. And I'm just not ready. And that's a very difficult pull. Maybe I should be optimistic, but like I said, they did the same tooth on the other side, and they used so much force they had to hold my forehead down. I thought the guy was gonna push his hand through my head, and it was such a difficult extraction. I actually shook his hand in gratitude and insisted, gave him the 2 hand shake, and was like, "Thank you, shank." I wonder if that was a Freudian slip, because while he was doing the actual inflicting of the torture and not getting anywhere, I was thinking shank. And then afterwards, I was thinking, thank you, this shit's finally over. Of course, it wasn't over. It took a while to heal, and there was shards of bone, and I thought they really fucked up the extraction. There were so many shards of bone in it. And yeah, this is getting to be the all tooth channel. The Tooth Network. It's getting ridiculous. But yeah. Broken toe is a broken toe. There's not, it is what it is. It hurts like a bitch. It's not fun to walk on. It's spooky because, I don't feel my feet right. So you're always worried that you're hurt worse than you actually are, because your body's not communicating with you properly. So, yeah. But the sleep disruption thing is just awful for me. I don't know why I did that. I just came home and just passed out after I went to the dentist sometime in the afternoon, and my schedule's been messed up ever since. Not that it was all that great before, but I was at least waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'll take that right now rather than being awake at 4 o'clock in the morning drinking coffee when you've already been awake 8 hours. So none of it makes any sense. It's very disorienting. Anyways, yeah, the last video was a mess, audio wise, and then the last, I just didn't edit it. I don't really edit stuff unless it's just ridiculous. It's monolithic. It's like, that's why I had to edit that one video. I don't like to edit it out. Long time people know why, because I want to let people see benzo and their effects and all their glory. I'm not here to make myself look good, or to look eloquent or well spoken or any of that nonsense. Cut out the parts where I'm being stupid or saying stupid things. I don't do that, but I have to do that sometimes. And I discarded. I've dis. Now that I think about it, I think I discarded one entirely because it was boring even to me. So this at least has some news about my situation. And when I do like a 2 hour monologue or something like that, a lot of it is just it's the only escape I have from this hell pit existence is thinking, trying to form words, trying to speak clearly and accurately and express myself in expeditious fashion. While I'm doing that, I'm not thinking about the thousands of problems that I have. And that's why a lot of them go on way too long. And the last video, the sound quality was shit. The first hour of content's okay. Second hour, not so much. Just me wasting time. So I have my appointment coming up on Monday for to tell the people where I want, or tell that guy's name's Brent, the housing guy. Oh man, my brain is not good at all. To tell my caseworker who will assist me with housing, man, I haven't drawn blanks like this and since the last time I was starting that three-legged race. That didn't even make no sense. It ain't good. Anyways, Monday, psychiatric nurse questions about this refill nonsense where he's giving me refills where they won't refill it. He's giving me actual prescriptions where they're like, no. I've not encountered that. And it's probably because I'm sending aides in to do my dirty work. It's not me. Not me, You can't send in a 7-year-old woman named Stephen Barton, who's listed as a 51-year-old male, to pick up a controlled substance when that controlled substance refill date is 2 weeks down the road. Doesn't seem to work out too good. So I think that's the issue there, but I was going to ask my psychiatric nurse about that, and then after I see him, see the caseworker and tell him where I want to live. And since I can't eat comfortably, I got a bunch of food I can give my younger brother, who, since he actually got his water fixed and has running water, he has a problem already with his running water. I haven't spoken to him for a good long while, which for us is 4 or 5 days. He's destitute. I mean, poor. Like, he should be getting the meals, not me anyway. But I got like, I don't know, 38 or 40 of them. And you get them every week. You get 14 of them a week. So I'm not eating the things. I mean, most of it I can't eat comfortably. And appetite notwithstanding, even if I had the appetite for it. So yeah, I thought I'd do a little therapy, do a little talk therapy for myself, and try to figure this out. The landlord said about 2 weeks or so for the tub, but he doesn't know. The son bitch actually texted me and asked me if there was any water leaking. I think I probably said this 3 days ago or 4 days ago. Anyways, but it was just an excuse to try to rekindle some sort of relationship or whatever. It's like if there is a crack in the tub and the crack people are taking showers and a tub with a crack, there's going to be a leak. There's been very few leaks because they don't want to draw attention to themselves. Either that or they don't want me to be mad at them or pound on the door anymore. Or whatever, I don't know. But they've taken very few showers. Or maybe they just got themselves some Gorilla duct tape and duct taped the crack up. But I've heard very few showers running, and I'm always in this prison. Because as I said in the last video, I am John Gotti without the murders. I do seem to be confined to this room a great deal of the time, due to the noise in the building and my physical problems being a leg that just not even using it, it hurts like a son of a bitch. I might, but yeah, not doing good. Gotta get this sleeping thing figured out. I was gonna start out like literally with 5-pound little girly dumbbells, and just to get used to the idea of moving, just for the exercise, just to do something. I don't know what I can do. I probably can't do a lot standing up, because part of my workout is done standing up. I don't even know what to call the things where you work your obliques. You bend down to the side and you roll yourself up, which I can only do so far because I got like that metal rod in my back. And then there's deadlifts. That's the funniest thing in the world, deadlifting 10 pounds, but just to get used to the motion, get used to doing it. And like I said, I picked up the weights again. I said this a while ago. Like I said it yesterday. I probably said this months ago. But I started out at my usual 20-pound dumbbells, and I felt like I got beat up the next day. And I was like, have I gotten that weak? So I would go ahead and start out with 5 pounds and do very little. And just start out slow. It's a lot better than being all sore and then not wanting to do it. That's the mistake most newbies make. But I've never had that problem with 10-pound dumbbell. Let me correct myself in case I said that wrong. 20-pound dumbbells is where I usually start out with. I'm going to go all the way down from 20 to just 5 pounds, which is basically just the bar. Hell, the bar weighs 3 pounds. Yeah, I usually start out with 20s. Yeah, my mind, I got the mind fog like you wouldn't believe, man. I got the mind funk. Yeah, like George Clinton. Funkadelic. And yeah, the thing about the partials is this is, again, cheap dentistry. Like, I don't mean to make this too theater or anything like that, but it's just cheap fucking dentistry. They give me these partials, right? They don't give me no clue how to care for them or whatever. Because, I mean, everybody's moving around in there like bees when it's in a high, around a hive when it's 100 degrees. It's crazy. So they just give me this shit. They don't tell me how to care for it. How am I supposed to know by this stuff by osmosis or whatever? But anyways, they already had the partials made for me back in, I was supposed to pick them up December 5th when I had my heart shocked in 2018. So they are no longer relevant because, they're like, you gotta get 4 teeth pulled. I ended up getting 5 teeth pulled. So they have to make a whole new set. For like they don't really need to make. I can really just wear the uppers if I have one chewing space. But the point is they don't give me any case, any information about how to store the stuff, to clean the stuff. They just jam the stuff in my face and pat me on the ass and send me on my way. So, like, I come home, I'm disgusted because I got to get 4 teeth pulled all right in a row. And I'm not going to be nasty, and it's bad enough you can see the little hollow spot. Um, it's supposed to be healing up pretty good, though, she said. Though she didn't really seem to examine it too closely, and it's still sore, but it's going to be sore for a while. But once I found out that, I came home and I took them partials out, and I threw them in a Glad bag, like sealable bag, and I sealed them up and threw them in a drawer. Never even wanted anything to do with them or to look at them. All I was thinking about is they're going to rip 4 teeth out of my head. And they're all right in a row. How the fuck am I going to get used to that? And I'm not used to it yet. It'll be a long time before I get used to it. And I found out later that they need to be stored in water, or something happens to them, they crack, they dry out, or something weird happens to them, which they never told me about in the place. They were like, we never gave you a care kit or anything like that. I'm like, no. Where do you have them? And I told them, and they said, well, that's really not how you're supposed to store them. And I'm like, well, what'll happen to them? And they're like, then they might crack, and they get dried out, and it's not good for them. You're supposed to store them in water, and it's like, I don't know nothing about this stuff. They're the same as dentures, I guess. I don't know nothing about it. I know you have to put dentures in water, keep them wet all the time. I mean, I kind of know that. So they sent me home with a case this time. I took them out of the bag and I put them in there, and I haven't put them in my head because they would feel like, you know, like, how will you clean? How are you supposed to clean them? I said. I forget what they told me. Maybe they have I don't know. I got to go back into the dentist again on the 20th, which is next Wednesday. They want to check on that tooth again or whatever. They just want me back in there, and they want me to bring my partials and have a look at them or something. I don't know. I'm sick of it all. I don't like aging. But the aging thing, I've always had problems with my body, so it's not that big a deal. It's the emotional stuff that gets to me, not the aging thing. It's whole. It's the family problems, and living in this building, and yeah. That's going to be fun. Like, I mean, how much of the ceiling do they actually need to take out? I don't know. They only took out the one panel, which was cool to find the leak. But how much do they need to take out to install this woman's new bathtub / shower? Don't know. So, I don't like waiting on that either. And also, I have a heart doctor appointment on the 27th, which I don't even know what day Thanksgiving is. It doesn't really matter because I don't do Thanksgiving. I don't have any family. That bothers a lot of people, I guess, but it doesn't bother me that I don't, do Christmas or Thanksgiving with family. that whole thing about people getting more suicidal around the holidays and evaluating their life, man, I'm evaluating my life every fucking day, wondering how I got myself in this mess. So, I mean, every day is Christmas. Every day is Christmas. It ain't no big thing. Uh, and I really don't have any choice in the matter because I have to, you know, push aside people that are getting in my way as far as me getting back to people that are getting in the way of my survival. I don't care who you are or how close blood related we are. If you're getting in the way of my survival, you ain't my friend. You ain't my family. I gotta push them aside. And family, they get lots of chances. Guys like the wheelchair guy that goes behind the landlord back, he don't get that many chances. The family gets a lot of chances. God only knows how many chances I gave my brother, my foster brother. But no, I don't. You know, I don't like appearing on camera like this, all distraught and discombobulated. But it is what it is, you know. I counted out my volume supply. I don't know, I was like 4-5 days ahead or something like that. So on Monday, I talked to them about that, and I'm like, not exactly sure. I don't know. I feel like um, if somebody else is plugged into my situation, if like those people that are writing the scripts, filling the scripts, or somebody got plugged into my situation, it's like I wonder how they handle it. I think on a video, I know on a video a long time ago, I used to have these fantasies where I saw an episode of the Twilight Zone where this guy had the ability to switch physical states with other people. It might have been switching whole bodies, I'm not sure. But this one guy had a broken arm, freshly broken arm, and he was like, "Oh my God, my arm's broke." And this other guy was like, "When'd you quit your uh, belly aching? My back is killing me," or something like that. And then he was able to switch places with him and give the guy the broken arm, and he ended up with the sore back. And I used to fantasize about that. It's like I'd like to put you in just, I'm not a sadist, so just 3 minutes ought to do it. I think 3 minutes in the Cathedral of Steve. Your body is supposed to be a temple, after all. I don't know. I don't think I'm big enough to be a cathedral. But, anyways, just 3 minutes. It'd be like, how long can you stand it? And then, you're going through all this extra stuff and extra turmoil and stress, and you're dealing with the fact that you can't hardly chew right anymore, and and I don't know if I'll have time to tell them the story of the 5 teeth pulled, because that's why he wrote me the script. I thought is because I told him I had to get 4 teeth pulled in front, or at the time I was still going back and forth about whether it be 2 or whether it should be 4, and I had I thought that's why he wrote me the script, is so I could get extra volume if I needed it, if the stress got to me or whatever. But then when I sent one of these aid workers to a pharmacy with a script, it was a no-go. When I sent one with a bottle that said 1 refill on it, it was still a no-go. They even denied the fact that there was a number one on there. They said that has no refills on it. So I could ask him about it. Maybe he canceled the refills on it. Maybe he is, for my own good, keeping me at 3 10 milligram doses of Valium a day. I don't know. It might even be for my own good. But I'm not. I'm still ahead. I'm still not even following the three times a day. Um, if you count like a 6 month span, I mean, I got pretty far ahead there. Um, so there has been some days where I've taken more to cope, and like I said, man, the boredom is killing me. Just being trapped in the house. Another thing I should talk about is my friend, uh, my friend the cop with the mom. The last time I talked to him, was the day before she had her PET scan to find out the severity of her lymphoma. She's 88, and that's been a long time now, man. It's got to been like 10 days since I've talked to him. Now I've just been leaving him alone because I know that he knows thousands of people. He's the opposite of me, you know. Uh, in this day and age, I'm about as hermity as a hermit can be, but he knows thousands of people. Interacts with, he's got scores of family, and I would just be one more guy calling up that annoying him. So I'm like, I'll let him call. I'll let him when he has time, or I'll let him deal with it in his own way. And he hasn't called me, and I don't know if she could be in a hospice for all I know, waiting to die. Or I know he'd call me if she died. Um, so I don't know how that's going. I'm just letting him handle it, trying to be respectful, because I know that I've watched that phenomenon before where somebody gets sick and there's just some phones ringing. She's got blah 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 blah. People come out of the woodwork for bad news. It seems like, especially in my family. Like when my aunt Sally got sick. Um, yeah, it was like everybody was calling constantly. People that haven't been in touch in years and years. So I don't want to be that guy, just like another annoying person. At the same time, you want to know that you care, but he already knows I care, so just leaving him be. Well, I guess I really don't have a whole lot to talk about and a whole lot of brain left to talk about it. So I'll leave this short. I wish I could be more my somewhat entertaining self, but yeah, I'm kind of like, kind of just like I said, I'm just like in a funk. Like this is like a flashback type of thing, like a flashback day or something like that, where I'm just not sharp. I just the words are not coming easily. The sentences are not smooth, but the mic should make me sound pretty good, even if what I'm saying is not very good. Um, Hmm. There's not much to talk about. I mean, part of my sleep disruption was um, I wanted to watch Thursday night football. Okay, now even probably people that always gonna talk about football, you know, even those people probably heard about the incident on Thursday night football with the guy hitting the other guy in the head with the helmet, and they want to take him out to the gallows for it or whatever. But it's a strange thing, phenomenon to me that where people can look at something and not see it. Okay, this is what happened on the play. The quarterback in the as a last gasp try throws the ball, or as he's throwing the ball, a player named Miles Garrett tackles the guy. He's on top of the guy. The guy's had one of the worst games you could possibly have. They've scored 7 points, and it was given to him by penalties. So really, he didn't even score any points. Uh, he's thrown 4 bad interceptions. He just had a horrible game all around. He's been terrorized by the Cleveland defense all night. So he just snaps. The quarterback just goes off and tries to rip a 275 to 285 pound defensive lineman helmet off while they're on the ground, and the guy's on top of him. Uh, well, it gives the defensive guy the idea that, well, I can pull your helmet off if you can try to pull my helmet off. So he pulls his helmet off, and because he's a apex predator, or the NFL's equivalent of one, he rips the guy's helmet off. Naturally, two of the quarterback's teammates jump in there and start pushing him back, and to protect their quarterback. Well, the quarterback's got no helmet on. The quarterback started the fight in the first place. He started the whole thing. But that's not enough for this idiot. This idiot goes running at this guy who's already being controlled by guys who outweigh him by 100 pounds, and runs up at him with no helmet on. As a reflex, uh, without any malice of forethought, but clearly in an attempt to hit the guy in the head, he swings the helmet. Now, they're acting like, he could have got killed and all this stuff. And it's like, there's no intent behind it. There's no intent. It was just like a reflex. The funny part to me is he's getting pushed backwards by some huge lineman, and he's backpedaling while this quarterback with no helmet is charging him and laying hands on him. So the quarterback reaches out with his right hand and reaches across. I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't think he can reach him to punch him, or why he would punch him with a helmet on. Who the hell knows? Or what he's trying to do? Who knows? But he's lost. Clearly, he's lost his shit, man. He's just seeing red. Quarterback runs up to the guy. The guy is backpedaling, and he grabs a hold of the guy with the helmet. The guy reaches over with the helmet and swings it, like he's trying to put it back on his head and give him his helmet back. Okay, if you wanted to injure somebody with malice of forethought or any intent at all, you flip the helmet over and you hit him with the hard part of the helmet. You don't hit him with the soft, cushy parts around the outside of it. So naturally, nobody sees any of this. The quarterback, the poor little itty bitty guy, that instigated the whole thing and escalated it by not letting his lineman take care of business. Because basically that's all that happened. You're trying to rip my helmet off? Well, here's how you do it. I'll rip your helmet off. Rips his helmet off. He was satisfied at that point. Like he had made his point. And then the linemen start pushing him back. But then the quarterback is actually attacking this 285-pound monster of a man. And Yeah, nobody's seeing that, you know. And they're actually talking. There's talk about that this Miles Garrett guy should not only be suspended for the rest of the season, which I believe he is, but for part of next season too. A la Kareem Hunt, who is a player that the Browns picked up because he got um, suspended and didn't play last year, and then lost 8 games this year because he had an altercation with a drunken woman in a hallway, and yeah, well, let's just leave it at that. I don't need to describe that to you too. You can just look it up. Kareem Hunt hallway altercation if you want to see what went down. But it's just some drunk woman outside of. This is as far as I'm going to describe it to you. He found out that she wasn't of legal drinking age and said, "You are not." He's trying to be smart. He's like, "You are not coming in my apartment." That he had at this hotel room. With and it wasn't like a pickup thing. There was a huge bunch of people there, and she just stood out in the hallway and screamed for half an hour. And then he came out in the hallway and tried to make her leave, and she wouldn't leave, and punched him in the face. And more madness ensued. So, but if you want, if you want the complete breakdown on that one, you can watch it for yourself. Kareem Hunt hallway incident, or Kareem Hunt, yeah, it'll be there. Um, but this thing here, it's just like funny how the quarterback. So they actually are threatening the Miles Garrett guy's career. There's people saying that he should never be allowed to play again. There's even like football players saying that's assault with a deadly weapon. If he did that on the street, he could get thrown in jail for 6 months or just crazy stuff. Everybody just losing their mind over it. But if you actually watch it, it's all the quarterback's fault. It was dumb thing to do, swinging the helmet at the guy. But uh, it's just that it's funny to me that people can look at something and not actually see it. They see what they want to see. They hear what they want to hear. They believe what they want to believe. It's almost like a game of visual Chinese whispers or the telephone game. Except for they're looking right at it, so there's no chain of people like relating a story. But they're still, because they want to see um, somebody as the bad guy, they're not seeing what's actually happened. Now, I've expressed this on a few YouTube videos, and had a couple of arguments, minor, not real arguments, but just had people call me names, and like people will do in YouTube comment sections. And it's like, no, that's just the facts of what happened. I said, I think he should be suspended 3 games for swinging the helmet. You don't swing a helmet at a guy. You know, he could have caught him wrong, and cut him or hurt him. And it's just something you don't do. It's also like the NFL. You probably know about the concussion thing. It's called CTE, but really the game is in peril because there's a fascinating documentary I watched about the lady that was the scientist that picked up on the whole concussion syndrome thing, and I don't remember the player who died. Oh yeah, I do. Mike Wagner, Hall of Fame center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was the first brain that she actually examined. And getting hit in the head, not good for your brain, and it causes certain changes in it that can be identified through visually, not even through tests. And so they found out, for instance, that Aaron Hernandez, a guy who committed double murder, who used to play for the New England Patriots, had a severe case of CTE, which is concussion something something something. Concussion, probably encephalopathy for something. Cepha meaning head, like encephalitis. I don't know. I don't know what it stands for. But anyways, um, so that helps follow up my sleeping schedule because I cannot watch. I don't want to get spoiled on the game because it ruins the fucking game completely. So um, I'm like, well, I'm already sleeping weird. I'll sleep, and then I should be able. You have to wait till the game's over to watch it. So the game don't start till midnight. I was like, I'll sleep and then I'll wake up. And I woke up at about 8 o'clock, which is about what time I woke up yesterday. We'll call it still today for me, but yesterday evening at 8 o'clock. That's when I woke up and I killed some time. I watched a cool low budget horror movie called Splinter, which I highly recommend, and watched some Netflix flicks movie that wasn't very good. I didn't watch the whole thing of. Then I said I'll just watch something that I know is good that I haven't seen for a while. But anyways, so I watched that game, and that's what happened at the end of it. I don't know. That was boring, and if I'm being boring, my apologies. I really don't have anything to discuss as far as my life, and because there's nothing there right now. I mean, I'm not doing anything. That's bad. I need to be doing something. And finding the will to do something, not play the video, what do you call it, YouTube association game of, oh, I'll watch this video. I'll get out of bed after I watch this video. I'll get out of bed and lift those weights after I watch this video. Well, then I'll watch this video. Oh, Robin Williams, 1977. Wonder what he was like. That was before Mork and Mindy. Let's watch that. Okay, that was horrible. But, you know what I mean. Just wasting time due to depression. And like I said, man, that no news is good news thing is not a good thing if you got something wrong with your body, because if they can find something, they can maybe fix it. And right now, my tooth it's pretty cool right now. But I was like, I spilled a bunch of it, which was a shame. But I had some generic Ambisol that one of those aid workers picked up, and I was trying to get it on that tooth, in between the crack, just a pinch between the cheek and gum, and that crack underneath the cap. Seemed to maybe I'm just irritating the gum. I don't know. I got no explanation for it other than I've experienced this before and I didn't like it the first time. Where I said like I was getting pain and they were like, well, there's nothing wrong with the tooth. And it turned out that the tooth ended up dying. So, yeah. The cold weather has snapped a little bit around here, or I should say the weather has broken, maybe. But we're going back up into the 40s with 30s for lows here pretty soon. So I can throw the cat out, which frankly he gets a little stir crazy. And I can throw him out for a while. But I just let him stay in. I mean, he gets the lion's share of the apartment, no pun intended. And I just sit in this room. He can't ever get in this room again because there's a litter box in this room now, impromptu, which if you watch the last video, you know exactly what I mean. But no, I don't know, like, the whole bootstrapping thing, it just gets fucking old, okay? It gets old when you got so many problems and you're like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. You know, when you have that option of letting time just melt away, you know. Now, it reminds me of like, there may be people that listen to this that'll be like, man, what if you had a job like me? Like, what if you didn't have any choice and you had the flu and you had to go to work anyway? It's like, valid point. You know, depression, indulging depression is, in a sense, a luxury. Because those, like, aid workers and stuff, I'm sure plenty of times when they come here, the last thing they want to do is, like the lady that did my laundry yesterday, is go to the laundromat or do this or do that. But they got to do it. They got to make themselves do it. But then again, they probably don't have a broken toe and a blowed up knee and CRPS and all the stuff that I got weighing me down. So, like I said, anytime you want to trade, like on the Twilight Zone episode, simple handshake. I'll trade places with you for a bit, as long as I get to keep my mind that I cultivated over these many long years. As far as swapping physical states, um, I'll give it a shot if you're game, if you want to try, you know, or if you just, I'll give you a little sampler tray in the grocery store. You can try it for free, for, see if you like it for 3 minutes. That's a round in boxing. See if you can make it through the first round. See if you can handle it. But anyways, I got the lighting, I think, right on this anyway. Making unnecessary noise by the microphone. Trying to put on my shitty glasses. Oh my. Wasted an hour of your time once again. But yeah, I mean, talking to people is good. Even just the act of stringing those sentences together. It's just good for your brain. Because I had some serious brain funk going on earlier in this video, and I think it's evaporated. My toe is throbbing. Oh my God, like you wouldn't believe. My broken toe. I don't know what to do about that. Inspect it, look at it, see what it needs. I don't know. But oh my God, does that hurt. I just got it all bandaged up, and it's very hard for me to bend with a metal rod in my back to mess with my feet. So, um, clipping my toenails and stuff like that, not a problem. But doing like delicate things like wrapping up toes and splitting them together and stuff like that, where you don't have that third hand you need to, where your toes are pegged together and you gotta have somebody pull out the pinky and all that nonsense, you know. Yeah, so I don't want to fuck with it, but right now it's screaming at me and I don't know why. The tooth is quiet. Maybe, it's screaming because the tooth is like, dude, I'm taking a cup of coffee and I'm taking a lunch break. So, you take over. It's your turn to torture this motherfucker. And then my toe will mellow out a little bit and then the tooth will come and hit me and come back from its lunch break. I don't know. But I'm not on the right schedule and I need to. I was going to send the battery to that one scooter that doesn't work over to my brother and let him work his mechanical mojo on it. And like I said, and see if I can repair that scooter. And I'll end up giving it to Roy before I leave here. Or even before I leave here, I'll just leave it outside his door and ask him if he wants it. I got it to work. I still don't want to talk to your stupid ass, but yeah, go ahead, take it. I don't need it. Got two of them. Um, but no, I don't know what he does with his money. Maybe he spends it on his grandkids or something like that. But he makes much more money than I do as far as Social Security. And I think, frankly, that his father was a gambler. He said, and I spent some time in his apartment, and we were actually watching harness racing. With the guys in the two-wheel things, like the chariot races, except for like, boring as hell. And so I think he probably wastes a lot of his money just that gambling online. Me, I gambled on things. Like one of the things I gambled on was Miles Garrett, which lockdown assured thing until he hit the guy in the head with the helmet. Then we got a problem. So there's no look. There's no football analyst in the world that would have predicted the season with the Browns at 6-3, that they would lose 6 of their first 9 games. So it. I wasn't the only guy in the world that was wrong. Everybody was wrong. There were people that raised concerns about them having a first-time head coach with very little experience. Doesn't even make sense, first-time head coach. But anyway, of hiring a coach with such little experience, there was plenty of people that expressed concern over that. But they figured that, how bad could he be? Real bad. Like, I see dead people bad. I see a dead team. Type bad. So there's people out there that actually have the theory that it's better for the Browns. Actually, even with this Myles Garrett suspension, they have the easiest schedule remaining. There's a chance that they can make it into the playoffs, which would give management an excuse not to fire the coaching staff. And so there's people out there with the theory that it's in the best interest now for the Browns to just lose, and lose a lot, just to make sure that the coaching staff is gone. But every game is a playoff game now, which makes it entertaining for me as a football fan, because if they only have to lose like one game before they meet the Ravens. And right now they're undefeated within their division, which makes a big difference. If that's a tiebreaker. There's football stuff that doesn't need explained. But yeah. So yeah, that's the only way I gamble. So I'll play poker. I won't play poker for huge stakes, but I'll play poker. I like that, and but not a gambling guy, but I think this guy is, and I think that's where his money goes. Either that, or he's been shut inside so long that he's afraid to use one of them things, which I could understand that he's a shut-in is a shut-in. Could be like he'd have no excuse not to get outside and get out and around. Now he does. So could be like one of those gifts that people don't want. Like here you go. Here's your excuse remover. Now you have no excuse for not getting outside and moving around and getting some sun on you. Which yeah, my excuse for that this year was not being able to walk. Like I had the summer of the crackheads. I want to say I had the summer of the crackheads. I had the summer of the meth dealers and the squatters. And last summer is the summer of the leg. Because everything was about my leg and about falling down. And like, I can't be falling. I fell a couple of times on the porch on concrete. nah, you don't want to be falling on concrete. Okay, just don't want to do that. So it's like it's too dangerous for me to be out and about, you know. And with the family issues, a lot of times, um, it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, why don't you take me over, and then you don't have unless you want to spend money for cabs or whatever, you got to come and go at other people's leisure, and I'm talking about people that are cities away, so it's an expensive cab ride, um, or Uber ride, which I've never investigated that. I don't know. Maybe it's not an expensive Uber ride. I've never investigated any of that. Um, but anyways, so where was I when in the time wasting department? I was speaking a lot about football and my own personal form of gambling. It's fun, You buy these sports cards. I know a little bit about sports cards, and I was a sport card dealer for oh, I don't know, for a 4 or 5 year span until I got tired of it. It got to be too annoying and too much work for too little money. Um, so I was like, yeah, the Browns are actually they have the world's attention, yeah, at least the football world's attention. Everybody's predicting good things for them. All eyes are going to be on them. All they have to really do is make it to the Rams game, which is the third game of the season, and beat the Rams, which was a Super Bowl team. And then I can dump all them cards, man, and make big money on them. And I was like, that was the plan. And then I'm going to use that money to help me move. Okay, let's see if I can remember the schedule. First game against the Titans, they got humiliated and committed the most penalties since the 1950s of any Browns team. 18 or 19 penalties against the Titans. The Titans, not New England. Yeah, not San Francisco. The Titans. And then the next game, I think they played a depleted Jets team where they lost their quarterback to mono, and they won that one. And then I think the Rams game was the third game of the season, and they lost it due to bad coaching. It was 17-10, and the Rams are not very good, but people did not know that at the time. They know it now, that the Rams are not very good, that they've slipped. They didn't know it. They just had to beat the Rams. So that was like, uh, yeah, that was very painful for me to watch. And then things just got worse from there. But I figured like it was like almost a sure thing. But there are no sure things, I guess, in life. Death and taxes. But that is a form of gambling, and I lost. But the thing of it is I still have the product, and they get a new coaching staff in there, and I have the guy that I invested in the most heavily is actually the top running back in the league in yards gained. So, you know, I'll be all right there. But he's on a losing team, you know. So no, if you're leading the league in yards on a losing team, unless you're Barry freaking Sanders, nobody cares. You know, I'll be able to get my money back out of it. That's about it. But if they were a team that was well coached, well disciplined, and in the Super Bowl hunt, then I make the money. But hey, it just didn't work out. You know, that was part of the plan of me moving out of here. Is invest in those I don't know, $2,000 to $3,000. The Perriman thing inexplicable. makes no sense whatsoever. Uh, and I watch like, and I got NFL Rewind, so I watch like a lot of NFL games. So I follow the guy whose cards I invested like $300 to $400 in, and he's not even really a part of the team. And it's like your agent, and you are an idiot, and your agent's an idiot, you know, because the Browns actually been looking for a third receiver, and he would be on a team that has potential at least for next year. And his name would at least be in the news, uh, but he only signed a 1 year contract for $4 million with Tampa Bay, and they might not keep him, and he might go to a team where he gets more chances to show what he can do, and a better quarterback because Jameson Winston is an interception machine, and that's turning into a running team anyway. But they're already loaded at wide receiver. But so that might work out, but all this stuff is going to be down the road. Is the point? It's like I was looking for immediate gratification. I was looking to make some dollars immediately off of the Browns, because if the Browns got off to a fast start, they were like a 5-1 shot in Vegas to make the Super Bowl or some crazy ass thing like that. It's like it was like a foregone conclusion from all your experts and analysts and pundits that they would win the North. And so this season has been an unmitigated disaster, and my investing in an unmitigated disaster. Uh, I that form of gambling, you can still break even at least, because the Chubb cards, he was grabbing a little close to his nuts. He was grabbing his groin toward the end of the game, and I was like, just get him the hell out of there, you know. And it was right when they said that they put his yardage totals up, and they said he just broke the 1,000 yard um, barrier mark in 10 games. As soon as they put that up there, uh, that's when the incident happened with uh, the helmet whack. But he was grabbing his groin in a way that did not look good. I mean, he's not a baseball player. Football players generally don't do that high groin grab type thing. Uh, Baseball players always got to be adjusting their stuff. I don't know why that is. You see less of it nowadays, I guess. But shouldn't their mamas tell them not to touch themselves in public? It's nasty. But yeah, that's the last thing I would need is that guy getting hurt. That's probably this is bad luck theater. We'll change it. We'll change the name of it from yeah, the Tooth Hour to Bad Luck Theater. Whoops, spilled some coffee. But so far so good with the Chubb thing. They're all very expensive cards. Like I'm talking, uh, they'd all go for $100 a pop if things would have went according to plan. Uh, but now, yeah, they just lost their best defensive player because of some stupid punk ass rookie quarterback for the Steelers. They just lost their best defensive player for the rest of the season. So I don't really think they're gonna win out. They got all these cupcake teams lined up in a row, except for Arizona, who is capable of beating them because they're tough against the run. Um, but yeah, that's pretty. You know your team's doing bad when people are saying it's better off if they lose. It's better for them if they lose because that means they're either like they'll get a higher draft pick if they in the draft lottery, if they lose more games, or it will point out that their coaching is inept. But I have no idea how anybody could miss the fact that their coaching is inept, because I am far from an expert on these matters. Okay, my head's cleared a little bit, which is good. Could be the coffee. It's probably just talking. Talking is good for you if you have someone to talk to. Um, I would recommend The Art of Conversation. Um, I've had many people in my life where there was too many landmines to have a conversation with them, because they were just too sensitive about certain things. So if they didn't like where the conversation was going, they would steer you somewhere else. A person very near and dear to me was like, no, because you're just going to talk about this. And I'm like, you're not Nostradamus. I was not going to talk about that. Because I was like, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but if I could just say, and she's like, no, because we're just going to go back to talking about, she didn't like what I was talking about before. And I was like, okay, you're not Nostradamus. I wasn't going to talk about that. We can consider that a closed subject. And, I'll remember after the video when I'm watching it back, because it's comforting to me. I don't know. It's not really narcissism, I don't think. Um, but it's just comforting to me to hear myself talk, and be rational and coherent when on the inside I'm screaming. There's something about that that's comforting to me, that I can still make some kind of sense. I wasn't too witty or entertaining, I think, in this one. But when I can manage to do that, that's also pretty cool, considering the amount of pain that I'm in, and worry, and fear, and the discomfiture of my existence. Certain words I have trouble with because my mouth is still sore. Hopefully that'll fade. And my tongue used to be blocked by those two teeth right there. So it drifts over there, and sometimes some of my pronunciations get messed up. But wouldn't that be a horrible thing if I lost the power to talk? I'm so good at it. What a horrible thing. I think it's just an adjustment period I have to go through, a healing process. And just getting used to it. But yeah, I mean, they actually have people come to your house just to talk to you. I could do that again, but it's really not a conversation. I like when the aid workers come in, I ask them to talk about themselves and stuff, but when you have a therapist come in there, they want to hear about you. So all I'm doing is the same thing I'm doing right now, is monologuing about my stupid life, except for in more detail. That's all like those therapy visits are. But if you have someone you can talk to, and where you don't have to be afraid, it's not a landmine. I mean, they're not going to freak out if you say something they don't like. They don't have touchy subjects, or I'm talking about like if you're a polite human being, not that that guy I met the other day. I met this guy the other day. He had a nose that's almost as big as yours. I mean, not that kind of touchy where you're actually being a dick. I mean, there's just subjects that are uncomfortable for them. But if you have someone to talk to, for God's sakes, talk to them. It's very good for you. And now I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to listen. Because really, in real life, I do much more listening than talking. That's my nose whistling, I think, for some reason. But I like to learn things, and I like to hear about other people's lives. I already know about my life. So in real life, I'm actually not. I ask questions. I want to hear about you. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting there like me, 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 me. But there's only me here, so that's what I got to do. But I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to be a listener now. I'm going to listen to this, and I'm going to draw comfort from it. And if that's weird, or if that seems narcissistic, swing and a miss. If that seems narcissistic to people, don't care. It's survival. That is the first mandate of existence. Survival. The second one's reproduction. Not happening. So we're going with survival. But yeah, it's survival first, and reproduction of the species second. And to facilitate the reproduction of the species, you need food, and you need to do the things, the survival things. Those things are all related to survival, but um, those are the two things. Survival's always first. That's why, like, when you get in a crisis situation or a real survival situation, your sex drive drops to nil. I mean, if you get in a real serious survival situation where you're like broke leg in the wilderness, or well, in my situation, it's like I've expressed this before. It's volume is like saltpeter, and even more so than Xanax for some reason. Xanax would kill a lot of my sex drive, but Valium much more so. And I'm kind of in a survival situation here, so I don't have very many sexual thoughts. I'm very few. I mean, I'm even watching football games and cheerleaders, and I'm thinking about the next play. Okay, that's not age, you know. That's something different. That's I think that the side effects perhaps of benzos for some people, but ever since I started taking Valium and been in this stupid situation that I'm in, that I don't need to describe to you because I've done it many times. The graph chart, not to be funny, or heaven forbid I should be funny. It's on a downward turn. It's not on an upswing. Okay. That one was just for me. It's like, it is what it is. On the Peter meter, it's just what it is. It's like I said, man. It's like the situation I'm in with the bad knee and the broken toe, and even before the broken toe, but just with the bad knee and the horrible living circumstances and the family drama, and then taking the volume on top of it. It's like, yeah, man. There's just no extracurricular activities. Yeah, and I don't believe that's healthy for a person, frankly. I think sexual pleasure is there for a reason, whether you be alone or you have someone to help you out in those matters. It's there for a reason. It's a mood lifter and lightener, and it relaxes you, lowers your blood pressure. It's good for you. So if you don't believe me, you can believe Ernest Borgnine because he has an honest face. He's not shifty like me. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. I think the cursor is still on the thing here, so this should click off.